Hello everyone, today I'll continue telling you the story about LyTuDiep. I hope you enjoy the video. LyTuDiep and Jame had been together long enough for everyone around them to see that they belonged to each other. Their love wasn't loud or dramatic, but steady, like a warm stream that flowed gently through all 4 seasons. Jame's mother, a woman who used to be extremely strict when it came to choosing a daughter-in-law, unexpectedly adored LyTuDiep from the very first meeting. She often told the neighbors, "That girl is gentle, polite, and has such a pure heart. My Jame is blessed to have met her." There were evenings when the two of them would sit on the porch drinking tea. She would tilt her head slightly and ask, "Jame, are you truly serious about LyTuDiep?" He didn't answer immediately. Instead, he gave a soft smile, the same gentle smile she'd loved since he was a child. "Mom, I love her. I love her in a way that makes me want to give her nothing but the best. I want her to be happy with me for the rest of our lives." Hearing that, her eyes softened. The worries in her heart slowly faded, replaced with satisfaction and pride. LyTuDiep is a good girl. I can see it from the way she looks at you. And I can also see that you genuinely cherish her. As long as you love each other, I'll support you with all my heart. LyTuDiep had no idea that Jame's mother often spoke such warm words about her. She only knew that every time she visited, the older woman always prepared her favorite desserts and always asked if she was tired or if she had eaten well. That tenderness warmed LyTuDiep's heart, making her feel as if she had found a second family. As for Jame, he loved LyTuDiep the way a mature man would, quietly, steadily, always preparing the best for her. He took her traveling so she could see how wide and beautiful the world was. He held her hand when she felt worried, hugged her when she cried, and smiled whenever she shyly lowered her head. To Jame, happiness meant seeing LyTuDiep at peace. To his mother, happiness meant seeing the young couple walk through life hand in hand. That afternoon, the sky was tinted a soft shade of gold. Sunlight streamed through the living room window, filling the room with a gentle warmth. Jame's mother sat on the sofa, her hands wrapped around a steaming cup of tea. When Jame walked in, she gestured for him to sit beside her, her expression serious but not heavy. "Jame," she began, her voice calm yet decisive, "I've thought it over." Jame tilted his head slightly, unsure of what she meant. "What is it, Mom?" She set her teacup down and looked straight at him. "I want to give LyTuDiep a house." Jame froze, stunned to the point he forgot to blink. "Mom, give Diep a house? Why so suddenly?" She lifted her hand gently, as if to cut him off. "It's not sudden at all. You two, sooner or later will become husband and wife. And LyTuDiep is such a kind, hard-working girl, she takes care of little Beanie with so much patience. I can tell she has endured a lot." She paused, her tone softening yet becoming even more sincere. "You can't let her and Beanie stay in that tiny house forever. I want the two of them to live somewhere more spacious, more comfortable. A place that's safe and clean, somewhere she can feel secure raising her daughter. I want LyTuDiep to have a place that truly belongs to her." Jame fell silent for a few seconds, a warm feeling rising in his chest. Before he could say thank you, his mother continued, "Don't be surprised. A woman can tell when someone is truly good. I like that girl very much, Jame. A mother only wishes for her child to love the right person and to know how to cherish them. Giving LyTuDiep a house is my way of letting her know that I see her as family." Jame lowered his head, his voice deep with emotion. "Mom, thank you. Thank you so much. I promise to take good care of LyTuDiep and Beanie." His mother smiled gently, her eyes glowing with pride. "As long as you two love each other sincerely, that's all that matters. Leave the rest to me." In that moment, Jame realized something. It wasn't just him who loved LyTuDiep, his entire family was opening their arms to welcome her in. These days, LyTuDiep was still living the same simple life as before. She woke up early in the morning to prepare her vegetable stall, hurried home at noon to pick up little Nee, and spent the afternoons and evenings cooking, cleaning, and helping the child with her lessons. Life wasn't luxurious, but it was peaceful, and with Beanie by her side, LyTuDiep no longer felt the emptiness she once did. The little girl's smile was what pulled her out of her sad days, the reason she kept trying harder every day. That afternoon, just after picking me up from kindergarten, LyTuDiep was about to take her inside when a familiar car stopped by the curb. Jame stepped out, still in his signature suit, but with an unusually bright, cheerful expression. The moment Nee saw him, she squealed. "Uncle Jame! Uncle Jame is here again!" The little girl dashed over and wrapped her arms around his leg, making Jame laugh as he bent down to lift her up and spin her lightly. "Were you a good girl today? Did you miss me?" he asked playfully. "Yes. I missed you so much," she said, hugging his neck and pressing her cheek against his shoulder. Watching them, LyTuDiep felt her heart soften. The affection Jame had for Nee was real, never forced. She smiled and said, "You're buying food for us again?" Jame proudly held up a bag of goodies like a child showing off his treasure. "There's flan for you, fried chicken for me, and strawberries for the two of you. I saw them on the way home and they looked too good not to buy." At the mention of fried chicken, Nee's eyes sparkled. She kicked her legs excitedly in his arms. "Uncle, let's eat together tonight." "Of course. I'm having dinner with you too," Jame replied, patting her head. Standing nearby, LyTuDiep noticed how unusually cheerful he was today, almost glowing. His eyes carried a brightness she had rarely seen, as if he were hiding something big. She tilted her head and asked softly, "What's going on? You look very happy today." Jame turned to her, eyes glimmering with mystery, a smile hinting at something she couldn't read. "Nothing. I'm just in a good mood." "Really? I feel like you're hiding something." She frowned slightly, both curious and shy. Jame only chuckled and reached out to brush a strand of her hair. "It's a secret. You'll find out soon." LyTuDiep blinked at him in confusion, while Little Nee piped up loudly. "Uncle, did you buy me a new toy?" Jame winked. "This time, it's something much bigger than a toy." LyTuDiep didn't understand what he meant. She only knew that Jame was different today, lighter, happier, as if he were carrying a gift too big to keep to himself. And she had no idea that the gift was a house, something Jame's mother had quietly prepared just for her and Nee. The next day, after finishing some work, Jame drove his mother to see the houses he had already shortlisted. During the ride, she kept asking, "Does this one have a garden? Is there space for a swing for Nee? Is the kitchen big enough for LyTuDiep to cook comfortably?" Jame smiled as he drove, warmth blooming in his chest at how thoughtful she was. "Don't worry, Mom. Every house I picked is spacious, quiet, and perfect for the two of them." They visited several homes, but his mother shook her head at each one. This one was too small, that one had no garden, another one had a driveway that was too narrow. It wasn't until they reached the fifth house that she stopped the moment she stepped through the gate. It was a modest but well-kept home, with white painted walls and a clean tiled yard. To the right was a small but lush garden with newly planted vegetable beds. Behind the house lay a clear little pond, its surface reflecting the trees in peaceful stillness. Her eyes lit up like a child's. "It's beautiful. This place suits LyTuDiep perfectly," she said, unable to hide her excitement. Jame followed her inside, smiling. The inside was warm and inviting, a bright living room with large windows that let in plenty of sunlight. There was a small, cozy bedroom with pastel curtains, and instantly, Jame pictured Little Nee, who adored soft pink shades. "This room would be perfect for the child," his mother said as she touched the doorframe. Jame nodded. "That's what I thought too." They walked to the back, where a larger garden stretched out, far more spacious than expected. It was the kind of place where LyTuDiep could grow her vegetables, set up a wooden tea table, and let Nee run freely every evening. His mother gazed at the pond. A gentle breeze rippled across the surface, and the tranquility made her sigh with satisfaction. "Jame," she said firmly, turning to him, "I want to buy this one." Jame blinked, surprised even though he had partly expected it. "Are you sure? There are still a few more we haven't seen." No need. She shook her head, her eyes resolute. This house suits LyTuDiep best. She loves gardening and quiet spaces. Nee needs room to play. The pond is clean, we can fence it for safety. I want the two of them to be happy here. Jame looked at her for a moment, feeling his heart soften. Then he smiled and nodded. All right. I'll start the paperwork. His mother beamed warmly. Good. I want her to cry from happiness when she sees this place. Jame looked around the house once more. In his mind, he could already see LyTuDiep hanging laundry in the yard, little Nee running around laughing, and his mother sipping tea under the shade of a tree. Together, they formed a peaceful picture. One he had never seen in his life. And today, that picture was finally taking shape. That afternoon, after closing her vegetable stall, LyTuDiep was surprised to see Jame suddenly appear at her gate. He didn't explain much, he simply said gently. Go change your clothes. I want to take you and little Nee somewhere. LyTuDiep was a bit startled, but seeing the bright, barely contained excitement in his eyes, she didn't question it. Little Nee, meanwhile, jumped up and down in excitement. We're going out, Uncle Jame? Where are we going? Is Grandma Jame coming too? Jame laughed, bent down, and playfully pinched the girl's cheek. Today, your future grandma is coming along. LyTuDiep flushed at the half-joking, half-serious remark, while Nee clapped loudly, even more thrilled. When the car stopped in front of the new house, LyTuDiep felt her heart skip. This wasn't an area she was familiar with. Jame's mother was already waiting at the gate, her face glowing so brightly that she herself couldn't hide her excitement. Diep, come in with me for a moment, she called, her voice as gentle as a real mother's. Holding Nee's hand, LyTuDiep stepped inside, but the moment she walked through the gate, her feet froze. Before her stood a small, lovely house with clean white walls and cute pastel green windows. Beside it was a little garden where flowers had just begun to sprout, and farther back was a patch of soil perfect for growing vegetables. The soft sound of water lapping at the pond behind the house added a surprising sense of peace. It's beautiful. Whose house is this? LyTuDiep whispered, afraid her voice would break the scene. Jame's mother stepped closer and gently placed a hand on her back. Go inside and take a look. I want to hear what you think. LyTuDiep walked into the living room. It was bright, spacious, and spotless, as if prepared with love, waiting for its new owner. Little Nee ran around the house squealing. Mom! This room is so pretty. It even has pink curtains. The child opened the small bedroom door and squealed again, as if discovering treasure. Everything was just right for a child, a tiny bed, an empty bookshelf, and a window that welcomed warm sunlight. LyTuDiep stood frozen. Her heart tightened, overwhelmed, disbelieving. Jame walked up beside her and asked softly. Do you like it? She turned to him, eyes already welling up. Whose house is this? Why did you bring me here? He glanced at his mother, then looked back at her with a smile warm enough to melt winter. It's yours, Diep. She stared at him in shock. Jame's mother approached and took her hand with deep affection. Diep. I'm giving you this house. You've worked so hard and endured so much. You deserve a safe, warm place to raise little Nee. I see you as my own daughter. This is my gift to you. LyTuDiep broke down crying. Not just from emotion, but because she had never, in her entire life, been loved and valued so deeply. I can't accept this, she sobbed. But Jame gently wrapped his arm around her shoulders, his voice steady and sincere. Take it. This is my mother's heart, and it's the place where I want you and Nee to be happy. Little Nee ran over and hugged her mother's leg, looking up with sparkling eyes. Mom. We really have a new house? I really have my own room? In that moment, every hardship, every lonely tear, every sacrifice, dissolved into tears of joy. LyTuDiep nodded in Jame's arms. Yes, sweetheart. It's our home now. The next morning, just as the sun rose, LyTuDiep woke earlier than usual. She stood quietly looking at the few belongings she and her daughter owned, a few boxes of clothes, some old pots, a few of Nee's toys, and her heart tightened. The place they had lived wasn't much, but it held memories. Yet today, she and her daughter would have a new home, a new beginning. Jame arrived early in a simple t-shirt, smiling brightly. He carried Nee in his arms while his mother followed with a basket of fruit and new household items for LyTuDiep. "You don't need to bring too much," his mother said as she helped move things. "When you get to the new house, I'll buy more for you." LyTuDiep blushed deeply, bowing her head in gratitude again and again. After bringing everything over, the three of them moved through the house, organizing each room. Jame installed child safety locks near the back door by the pond. His mother arranged the new table and chairs, placing flowers in a vase. LyTuDiep folded clothes neatly and placed them in the wardrobe. Meanwhile, little Nee had been fluttering around the house like a freed bird since the moment she stepped in. "Mom, my room is so pretty. I don't want to leave ever again," she squealed, hugging her new bed. Hearing her daughter's joy made LyTuDiep's heart swell with happiness. When everything was finally in place, James stood in the middle of the room, looking at mother and daughter with quiet pride. "So, from today on, this is your home," he said. LyTuDiep turned toward him, eyes shimmering. "Thanks to you and your mom, my daughter, and I have this. I don't know how to thank you enough." James' mother stepped closer and gently patted her shoulder. "Diep, all I want is for you to be happy." The first meal in their new home. As evening fell, the kitchen lights glowed for the first time. The air was filled with the comforting aroma of sour soup, braised fish, and boiled vegetables, simple dishes, but filled with warmth. Jame helped cut fruit, while his mother set the table. Little Nee sat in the middle of the room hugging the new doll her grandmother had given her. When dinner was served, the four of them sat around the new wooden table. The soft golden light illuminated their smiling faces. James' mother served soup to LyTuDiep first before giving some to her son. "The first meal in a new home must be joyful and full of happiness," she declared. Jame looked at LyTuDiep for a long moment, his gaze so warm it made her heart skip. "I promise, this won't just be a new house. It will be a place where you and Nee will never have to worry again." Little Nee, eating enthusiastically, chimed in between bites. "Grandma, tomorrow can I invite my friends over? I have a new room." Everyone burst into laughter. LyTuDiep looked around, at the bright home, at James smiling, at his mother's gentle expression, at her daughter's laughter, and tears silently rolled down her cheeks. For the first time in her life, she felt she truly belonged to a family. That night, after everyone had gone home, the new house grew quiet, only the soft hum of the fan and little Nee's cheerful babbling from her own room remained. LyTuDiep stood in the living room, letting her fingers gently trace along the glossy new wooden table, then walked slowly down the hallway, looking into each room again, as if making sure this wasn't just a dream. Everything was too beautiful. Too spacious. Too warm. Hard to believe this house belonged to her. She stepped out to the backyard, where the evening breeze still carried the scent of grass and the cool moisture rising from the pond. The warm kitchen light behind her cast a gentle glow across her back, creating a scene so tender it made her heart tremble. She stood there, leaning lightly against the doorframe, overwhelmed by a peace she had never felt in her life. No more damp, cramped rental rooms. No more sleepless nights afraid that rain would flood the floor. No more anxiety about rent at the end of each month. No more loneliness in a life filled with struggle. What remained now was a real home. A home filled with the smell of cooking, little Nee's laughter, James' quiet care, and his mother's warm embrace. Just thinking about it made LyTuDiep's eyes sting. She brought a hand to her mouth to stifle the sob rising in her chest. Tears rolled down her cheeks, but they were tears of happiness, tears of someone who had finally found a place she belonged. She turned back to look at the living room, Nee's bedroom, the soft light glowing from the kitchen, and her heart bloomed, little by little. Silently, she whispered, "At last, my daughter and I have a place we can call home." She felt happiness in the simplest, deepest way. Not because the house was beautiful. Not because it was spacious or new, but because, for the first time in her life, she no longer had to be strong alone. Now she had Jame beside her, his mother loving her like her own daughter, and little Nee laughing every day, and LyTuDiep realized that the happiness she never dared to dream of had finally come. Night settled in fully. The new house was calm and peaceful. Little Nee slept soundly in her own room, breathing softly like a tiny kitten curled up under warm blankets. LyTuDiep gently closed the door and walked back to the living room. The soft golden light reflected off the spotless new floor, making the whole place feel astonishingly cozy. She sat on the edge of the sofa, hands twisting together, her heart too full to keep the emotions inside. She dialed Jame's mother. The phone rang only a few seconds before someone picked up. Diep? Her voice was gentle and familiar, just as always. LyTuDiep took a small breath, trying to steady her voice, though the emotion still trembled through it. Yes. I just wanted to thank you. A short pause. Then she continued. I'm really grateful. This house, it's beyond anything I ever dared to dream of. Nee and I have lived lacking so much for so long. You gave us a home. I don't know how to thank you enough. Her voice cracked, her eyes burning red. On the other end, Jame's mother smiled, and even though LyTuDiep couldn't see it, she could feel it. Diep, don't cry, my girl. I did this because you deserve it. You're a good person, and you live for your child. A mother like you, I could never love you enough. Tears fell even faster, not heavy, but gentle, releasing years of ache. I've never had anyone treat me this kindly. I never thought I could have a family like I have today. Jame's mother spoke softly, with a warmth that wrapped around her like a blanket. You have one now, Diep. Our family's doors are always open for you. Just live comfortably, raise me well. You can see me as your own mother. Hearing that, something in LyTuDiep's heart melted completely, filling her chest with a weightless, overflowing warmth. Yes, thank you, truly. Her voice shook, but this time with relief. Jame's mother chuckled softly. All you need to do is be happy. Leave the rest to me and Jame. LyTuDiep pressed a hand to her chest, feeling a soft warmth spreading inside. For the first time in her life, she wasn't lost. She had a home. She had people who loved her. She had a family to lean on. In the quiet of that night, LyTuDiep smiled through her tears, the smile of a woman who had finally found the safe harbor she had been searching for her entire life.
Xin chào tất cả mọi người đã quay lại với kênh của mình. Mình lại tiếp tục một bài thơ về tình bạn mới nha mọi người ơi. Để mọi người đợi mình một tí rồi, cái máy nó rụng. Đây. Cái gì để kê? Bỏ lên cây gối kê như này nha. Bài thơ tình bạn. Vịt con hí hoáy, vẽ ông mặt trời. Bạn heo gọi ới ời, vịt giật mình hoảng hốt. Ôi thôi lo màu đổ, bắn tung tóe khắp nơi. Vấy bật lên tấm áo, vịt giận heo thật rồi. Năn nỉ mà năn nỉ, heo tị tê làm hòa. Vịt con cười hết giận, lần sau cẩn thận nha. Bài thơ này hay quá. Cảm ơn mọi người, tạm biệt mọi người.